Hi everyone, welcome to the studio. It's Martin from Meyer Street Records. I hope you're keeping well and as ever making great music in your own recording space. Now, no one's asked for this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to give you a studio tour today. Very raw. I'm going to literally take the cam in a minute, hold it, talk through what's in my recording space and give you an insight to what I do here and also what gear and how things are kind of connected, etc. For you to enjoy. So enjoy and I'll see you soon. Cheers, bye. So this is the recording control room area, clearly. And it's a space I'm very proud of. It's very much wired exactly how I planned. And this time I did actually plan it. Sometimes in the past I've put together studios and for myself, of course, and they haven't quite been written down, if you like, for how things are wired. But this one is, and the hub of it is a patch bay, which I'll get into in a sec. But first of all, well, second of all, let's get to the smaller live space, small client, sit down, chill area. But I do record from here as well. As you can see, the elephant in the room is the piano. And this piano is, I've had it since 2013, but it's a 1970s U1A Yamaha piano. Pre-mic'd, so I've always got two microphones, in this case C 414 AKG condenser mics, space paired on the piano, because you never know when you want to record it, so I like to have it wired ready with decent mics, and that's great. Over here, acoustic panel just to kill that dead end corner area. Up here, a very inspirational picture for me in particular. It is the London South Bank with Big Ben in the background. I used to busk around here about 12 years ago and it gives me good inspiration, nostalgia, memories, so I like to have that. I've also got the New York picture, some very nice places of interest which you may recognise, just inspirational stuff. I'm a global person, so I like to have the globe nearby. Big Freddie Mercury fan, and an old grand piano ornament which is just nostalgic from childhood really. Of course I take these things off usually when I record, if I can be bothered, but I like to have some pieces here. I've also got some favourite records and a Hollywood book obsessed with the history and the downfall of Hollywood, which is a good read. Never knew most of where the £1 million houses are now was just a pumpkin field at one point, and not that long ago either, which is just amazing. Over here I've got a couple of guitars, acoustic and electric. The Yamaha Pacifica was bought for me by a friend in the late 90s. And it wasn't expensive. I think he spent maybe 150 quid on it, and it's actually my studio workhorse. Absolutely love it. Stays in tune, great tone, just an all-round workhorse really. So fantastic. The Taylor guitar, obviously it's good to have a good acoustic. This is a great acoustic. Taylor guitars are fantastic. It's a CE214 model. And yeah, fab, really good. Use it on all my recordings. Microphone wise, I've got microphones dotted everywhere in the studio. There is a drawer somewhere as well, but this is my go-to SM7B vocal microphone with a cable ready to go. You never know when you hear a melody, you just need to record it at good quality, and this is the one. Even if I record a vocal with a client wanting the most expensive condenser mic, I will always have an SM7B next to that thing because I love the SM7B microphone. The hype is real, my friends, and I recommend it. All right. Handy stool. You never know when you need a stool in the studio. And look, every producer has a bass guitar, whether they're a real bassist or not. I bought this one probably back in the early 2000s. It's a Fender Squier Precision bass, and 4-string. I like the colour really, but as I've recorded more and more, the tone is what it's about, and I absolutely love it. I'll always DI it, and usually mic up a cab as well, and it's fab. Here is the rigged up, ready to use guitar effects board. So if we're feeling lazy, we use this to get some great sounds quickly. And yeah, it's all pre-rigged, ready to go. This is an XT Live, so you could use it on stage really, but I got this one when I was gigging a lot and I used it on stage. And yeah, now it's used for the studio. Over here I've got some headphones ready, all wired in for playback if someone is recording in here. I've also got some patch bay leads on this handy hook and some microphone cable as well. I've got a microphone splitter here for when it might be required. Some power. Everyone needs an Aladdin's genie lamp for something. I won't say what's in there. My wishes might not come true. And in here, I know you're dying to find out. It's my battery hub for camera stuff. Some hard drives, label maker, lens. Oh, another, I think that's an SM58A in there, or the Beta 58. Lemon oil for the guitar cleaning, some reference CDs. Reference CDs, in case you don't know, there are useful CDs where you really do know the sound of, so then you can use them to ensure you know what your system sounds like, because if you know a record really well, you'll know how it's supposed to sound. That's how I use a reference CD anyway. Oh, this is cool. Up here, I've got the Marshall one, but this is a newer one I bought recently. It's for your keys, and it's a Fender key holder using a 1/4-inch jack. You plug in your key and you turn it up to 11, and it's awesome. Over here we've got a music stand, which is handy. Tripod obviously for my camera. Some cymbals for drums. This is, sorry, it's not massively tidy, but it is pretty much a used working space. And behind here, this is a panel, sort of the size of the window, which when I record or mix, I like to just place it above there on those hooks. Just deadens the sound a little bit more. And that is also what this black thing is, in case you're wondering. It sits, all custom made by yours truly, into the door frame. It's a strong old door, this one, but it still helps with absorption and also sound being released out into the wild. Okay, so now you've seen that part, so let's show you the control area, and this is where the magic happens for me. Take that as you want, and let's start with the rack, shall we? So I'm just going to take a seat while we do this. So this rack unit, I started the build for it in 2019 going on to 2020. So as you can imagine, I had a bit more time to finish it off during 2020. And that's where the idea for the patch bay came in. Yes, I say an idea because although I've been recording for over 15 years now, I've never had a patch bay in my own recording space. So I realised I needed a project to keep myself busy, so I decided to put together a patch bay, and this is the end result. There's a lot of cabling going on behind it, let alone what's going on in front. But it all makes perfect sense as long as you have a good handy list of where things are, clearly, which I do. And so the patch bay really is the hub. It brings together all the gear. It brings together this rack, the door side of things, and without it, you are pretty much, unless you're able to get to the back of these units very easily, and you're happy to do so, you are pretty much stuck with one setting usually. So that's why the patch bay is useful. It allows me to integrate or configure my kit however I wish. Meaning I could have this preamp with this compressor with that EQ, then going into that compressor, then maybe going through an effects unit if I wanted. I wouldn't want that, but if you see my point, you can do it any way you wish. And it's fun as well. So anyway, what have I got? So first of all, let's go from the bottom, shall we? I've got the compressors here. I've got the newest one I've had recently is the Fusion. You all know this one, I'm sure, by SSL. I use that mostly on mastering and on, say, a drum bus or something which needs some beef. This is the Cream. It's the original Cream Tegular. It's not the digital version, but it's got a Pultec style EQ, a very, very nice smooth compressor, and I recommend both of these units to everybody. I usually run them in line via the patch bay to create some amazing sounds on stems or masters, and it's fantastic. That's all I can say about it. You have to try them to understand them yourself, I guess. This bad boy I've had, this is the TLAudio Ivory 2 5021 dual valve compressor. I've had it for, well, since the early 2000s really. This is the second one I've purchased because I use another one in a different studio where I do voiceover stuff, mostly for audiobooks. And I love the thing. I don't usually over compress much with this one. It literally is the first one that I wander into in terms of audio. Keep it nice and light. It warms up the sound. Then we can compress a bit harder if we parallel compress with this guy. Just giving you a bit of an insight. Above that, I've got the Tascam SD card playback and recorder. Handy, you know, it can be a bit of a get out of jail if you need to record something quickly. But I used to use it mostly for sending a master to, but then I did it a different way. So it's kind of sat there now as a playback unit. But I like it. It's very handy to have, especially if you do long recordings as well. Above, I've got my main preamp for the studio, which is, as you can see, a new Neve 1073 DPX, which has a dual preamp, which means there's two of them. There's also an EQ section. But what's great about this bad boy is that it's also got the digital output on the back. So this is actually a 2-channel interface converter as well, from analog to digital, which I have got, but the panel is on the back, and it gives me that option, the flexibility if I need to use it, or if clients prefer to use it. But my main interface converter is this Focusrite Scarlett, which is an 8-in, 8-out analog interface. It's great, absolutely love it. Have no problems with it at all. It does its job, and I have no intention to remove her. I've got 2 of them, just in case I needed to use more for recording. I haven't needed to record more than 8 mics at the same time in this studio. Even on a drum kit, it seems to be absolutely fine. But if it happens and a client wants to record more, or I feel I need to record more, I can slot another one in here, which we have, just to make it more fun, really. Okay, so over this side, we have got the other rack, and in the rack we have a DBX 286S mic pre, but it's more a mic processor because it has compression, it has a de-esser, an enhancer, expanded gate, etc. So I really use this one if I do spoken word stuff in this studio, mostly for the de-esser. It just sounds good, really. It's not expensive, but it doesn't have to be for it to sound good. Over here we've got the UA 6176, which I kind of jumped into really without really hearing it beforehand. And yeah, it's great. It really is great. It's just I don't feel it's completely necessary for my setup, but occasionally I will literally just use it on a vocalist and I'll be like, wow, this is awesome. And that's what it's about. You know, sometimes you buy equipment and you think, do I need it? And the chances are you don't need it, but when you have got it, you do think to yourself, oh, I'm really glad I've got that. It sounds good. It's a preamp this side, but it's also got a 1176 compressor limiting amplifier, they call it, this side. So really it's two separate units, but I can dual them together, which is how I use it usually. But if I wanted to use my Neve preamp and then patch that into an 1176 compressor, I can do as well, you see. So it's got its flexibility, mostly because of the patch bay. All right, below here I've got a cheaper compressor. It's a DBX 266 XL. I've had it for a while. When I was rejigging studios, I decided to keep this one. It's really good just to put as a, if you want just a big fat compression on a drum bus, for example, paralleled with something more softer. It just gives it an extra oomph, you know. The graphic EQ, awesome. I don't use it that much, if I'm honest, but occasionally something will stick and I think, you know what, instead of going to the soft plugin, I would just use this and have fun. And that's the whole point, really. And also, like I say, when you've got the patch bay, it's just so much easier. It gives you that flexibility. And they're just swiftly moving past this slot. I will come back just to give you an insight what I've got here. We've got the TC Electronic digital effects unit, which is all again patched to the patch bay, so I can bring that into Pro Tools if I wanted to. I've got a CD player, if you remember what they are, and recorder, and that's great for playback. And I've got my old SDR Mackie digital audio recorder, which is, in case you didn't know, a 24-track multi-track recorder. And honestly, in the day, these things were incredible and used to be the hub of my studio anyway. And yeah, I've got a lot of projects on there, which are great to listen to nostalgically, but these days I don't usually record it unless I'm asked to record a band, and I'll go out, I'll record the band as a backup with this, but also into Pro Tools as well. It's good to have two versions just in case. All right, so yeah, let's have a look at this handy drawer. So this is the handy slide table, if you like, I made. Just got the hinges from Amazon and put that there. I've got the mouse, I've got the keyboard, handy note paper just in case we're on take 2001. I can just quickly note, never book this band again. No, joking. I can just keep notes and make sure I know what I'm doing or where we're at. I've got this keyboard in front of me. It's my favourite thing in the world in terms of keyboards. It's a Yamaha MX61, yeah. And it's got some great internal presets. You can download new ones for it, but it's in front of me because I love it. I use it a lot, especially for putting down click tracks, adding orchestral parts or synth parts to tracks. Really good. And this little desk here replaced an old bigger board I used to have. And what this does, this little Soundcraft mixer, is it's kind of like the hub of the speaker system. So everything comes to here, the PowerPoint output, and then that goes to the speakers, CD player, etc. This little dude I can't focus them up, I don't think. And this one, this is a talkback microphone, and you're thinking, who am I talking to for a talkback mic? Well, this is also the monitor which goes to my live room, which we're looking at now as a live video feed. And if I talk through this, then they can hear me in here on headphones or on a monitor which is on the floor. There's a little wedge. So very handy to have. You need to communicate. So that's my eyes to the live room. I've got a microphone dotted here. This is it's a very famous radio mic, which is the RE20, sorry, Electrovox, and usually found inside a kick drum or the back of the cajon. But this is here for when I do YouTube videos as well, for that radio sound. As you can see here, I've got the speakers. They're Genelecs. They're the 1032Cs, and I love these guys. I know them. I think they know me now. And what I'm lucky about them is that they are a good sound. They're pretty industrial. They're pretty big for this space, but like I say, when you know your speakers, it makes life a lot easier. And I quite enjoy listening to these over a long period of time as well, which makes things even better, especially when you're mixing or mastering. So yeah, recommend these. Over here is a camera, and that is on a little holder stand. And what that is, that's filming me in here. So when I am looking at the people in there, they can also see me on a screen in the live room. And the cable there links, as well as audio cable, into the live room. Okay. Most importantly, we have a DeLorean, a small little Marshall cab. Makes you feel good seeing all these little bits and pieces. So yeah, there we go. Oh, and there's the cajon. Nice little handy place. If you haven't used a cajon before in your recordings, I recommend it. You normally fall into these things accidentally if a band brings one in, or you just happen to like the colour of this one like I did and just bought the thing. Then I used it, and oh my goodness, the drum kit can go away for certain things now, and this thing just does wonders to a recording. So I love that. Yeah. So yeah, there we go. So I think now what I'll do, I will walk you through now to the live room, and so you can have a look of the things in that side as well, because this ultimately is the control room with a small recording area, but the main recording space is in the live room. Okay, so let's go and have a look. Oops, a bit bright outside today. Okay, so there she is. There is proof in the pudding where we're at. And then, oh, better turn the, this is the actual live room. I've got a desk in there at the moment, really because I've been writing recently, and that has been the ultimate desk to sit at and just write some stuff down. But the space is completely usable and configurable as well. That's probably worth mentioning, because as much as it's set like this now, sometimes this room can be pretty much completely empty, minus the rack and some microphones on stands. And we can have the drum kit here, normally faces this way, or if it's a smaller one we can go this way, depending on how elaborate the kit is. We have a yellow door, which is needed in every recording space, right? Cheers me up. And over here is the screen. So as you can see, this is the control room. So in a way, it's the window for if I was recording in here, I'd be able to see what's going on. I've got acoustic panels These are the ones I made, the colourful ones. We've got Back to the Future, we need to have that. And over here we have what I like to call the vocal recording space, but at the moment there are some drum bits. So if I was recording, or singing here rather, I could stand here, microphone would be around here, which would be possibly this U87, and I would be able to see the producer or the engineer, feel like I'm part of them rather than isolated, and we can talk via the headphones, and there's a little mixer there so you can decide to turn up your levels or not. And this is the camera, which is the relay camera, if you like, for me to see in the control room. So it kind of points generically over here, but it allows me to see the artists, see if any mics have moved, etc. This rack unit was actually built for me by a lovely chap in Bristol. Chunky Studio Furniture is his Instagram. Check him out, really good. I needed something to house probably the most important part in this particular room, which I'll show you in a sec, but also some storage and a small sort of like place you can put a cup of tea, the little mixer. I've got a TV box there, and obviously it has the internet as well for running cables. But yeah, the most important part, now that I've teased you, is this rack. And what this is the hub to get me from this room to the control room. And all it is 16 analog mic inputs, which can go directly into the patch bay in the control room, so I can put in as many mics as I need to and record. There's also returns as well, but they come in behind this rack for headphones, and then they'll sort of sit up here via the desk. Yeah, we've got a bigger acoustic panel this side. It just deadens the sound really. And these guys, the blue ones, I built myself. I'm not a Mr. DIY guy, but I thought I needed to do something, and I decided to build these. I built the frames, another piece of wood in the middle, insulated them, got some curtain material, and I was extremely handy with the staple gun, and wrapped them up and put some legs on. And what I use those for is sometimes to deaden drums, but also just to place here and here, and then if someone's singing there, it's a lot more tighter. And just you know, you just got to play with it really. That's the whole point of acoustic panels. I've obviously got the big white ones on the wall here, but at the end of the day, I want things to be dead. I don't want things to be completely dead. So a bit of live is important. I've got the rugs down. Every good studio needs some original, authentic, shall I say, Persian rugs, which these are. And I can take them out if I need to, depending on what we're recording, really. There's never a set thing to do. A bit like this desk. The desk is there, like I said, I've been writing, so it's been fantastic to have. I can put the notepad down, strum the guitar, get some ideas going. I can put YouTube on there to get more inspiration, and it's all cool. Down here I've got my old busking amp, which is a little Roland wedgie amp speaker as well, and I use that, like I say, for talkback if needed, if the artist doesn't want to wear headphones, but also as a practice amp. I can plug the guitar straight in using my guitar cable there and have a jam, which is cool. Over here, it was my present for lockdown. Bit extravagant. I don't make my living from playing guitar, but I certainly decided to spend some money on this Fender Stratocaster American Pro, and I loved the colour. I love the maple neck. It is awesome. So yeah, hopefully something I'll keep for life and enjoy, and that's the whole point of these things at the end of the day. And I've used it on recordings, of course, but I bought it really as my own personal guitar. I know you want to know what's behind this door, so I may as well show you. We have a small bathroom. So we have the toilet, we have dookie on the wall, we have a kick drum pedal, some cymbals in their case, and just recently I was recording this floor tom in this room, mostly for its reverberant sound, and yeah, it was great. Whatever works, I say, when it comes to recording. I don't know why it's still there, maybe I got lazy with the D-rig and just left it in there for someone to fall over themselves. But that is what's in this room, so it's handy to have that room. It could have been a booth, it could have been a small vocal booth, but I decided to create a space to use the loo. So there we go, guys. This is the live room. You've seen the control room. It's something I am extremely proud of, and feel very grateful as well to have, because it took time to do and a lot of saving, and now I feel very comfortable when I ask people to come along and record, or if they want to come and record themselves, to offer them a space where they can actually feel good, but also get a good sound as well, which is what it's all about. So there you go, guys, that's the studio tour. I hope it's been real and informative, maybe inspirational, but whatever it was, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers, bye.